Definitely more dependence on him, as opposed to thinking I have to know how to do everything in just the right way if I want the results that I want. Like, there's a certain amount of flexibility required with leading a small group because you don't know who's going to be involved in it. Everyone has a different personality, people interact differently, like, and every semester it can change. The community of my small group is already different this semester than it was last semester because we have more new people, and then a couple of the people from last semester couldn't make it. And Dan and I kind of split our groups because our small group was not a small group. It just kept growing and growing and was kind of uncomfortable with so many people. It kind of changed the dynamics. So we actually split. Before one of our small groups discussed it with everyone, like we laid out, you know, our vision is to be, we're called a small group witnessing community. We want to be witnessing to this campus, and we are so blessed with the size of this small group. There was probably like 14 people there that day or something, and just explained that this is what we've been praying towards, that we could split, which was great because there was another residence hall that had no small group, and now there's a small group there. Now I can feel the intimacy is far greater than it had been. That was something I constantly was yearning for. That spring semester, that was my first time leading, that I felt like I was so close, but it just wasn't happening, and I feel like now it's just like, it's natural when you're digging in that deep to Scripture, learning so much and growing so much together, that community just comes with that. Whenever the leadership team made kind of the group decision that we were going to study the book of Mark, I remember just kind of closing my mouth and smiling and nodding and thinking like, well, that's a gospel. Everyone knows the gospel and it's such a general message, like I hope that's not boring. But I've just been blown away through studying Mark, by how much there is to gain from just looking at Christ, looking at how he lived and his followers, and the things that they went through, how easily they compare to things that we go through. Scripture is living and breathing. Like, that was a lesson for me, that's true. And I think the night that Brett officially committed his life to Christ, we had an application question about when Jesus had called his disciples and they just dropped their nets and came and followed him. And our application question was something along the lines of, like, would you drop everything to follow Jesus? Would you drop everything and just go? And I probably thought about it the night of and then just kind of dismissed it, and because I remember when he was telling me about it, it just blew me away. I was like, wow, the application question, you were actually thinking about it? But he was thinking about it, and he felt really convicted, and he asked God into his heart. He was changed by the Scripture. I think that was a big part of it. So. A big part of people being willing to take part in that is when that vision is communicated and when they see, you know, something's happening here, there's a purpose here. A big chunk of advice would be to be praying. I've really come to a point where I've been praying for these simple truths that people tell you all along, but there's just this difference in knowing them in your head and truly coming to understand them in your heart. So things like, Lord, I'm nervous right now, like I don't know what's going to happen and I'm kind of frustrated by that, or whatever you're feeling, like instead of thinking that it's wrong for you to feel that and trying to bury those feelings, just to get them out, express them to God, say, that's there, that's how I feel, but I trust you and I'm gonna walk in this and see what happens.